This is Ubuntu Radio.
A better South Africa, a better Africa, and a better world.
Joining us on the show this afternoon is Talifhani Tshitwamulomoni. He's an executive chairman at the Universal Greening Organization. Good afternoon and welcome to Ubuntu Radio.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate being invited here. You said my name very well. I appreciate that.
No, you're most welcome. Now, the Universal Greening Organization is a non-profit making organization focused on environmental conservation, sustainable agriculture, and green economy development. Can you tell us about the formation of the Universal Greening Organization? When was it established, and really looking at the primary objectives of the organization?
So, the Universal Greening Organization was established in 2014. I was a student there at the University of Venda doing Bachelor of Environmental Science second year. And I was sitting in class with other young people, and we realized that the lot of work that we're doing is mainly theory. So we said, let's start a vehicle that will help us to convert the theory that we learn in class into practicals. And also to look at mentorship, because we realized that we're studying in class, we're getting good marks, but unfortunately, we do not know what's happening in the industry. The policies are changing, companies are hiring, and we do not have those information. So we said, it would be good that we start a vehicle that will help us to get mentors who will connect us with the reality. And thirdly, we wanted to convert the research that students do into grassroots community development, because we realize that most of young people do research. And remember, when you do a research, you go and identify a problem. And when you identify that problem, at the end, you will have recommendations. So most of this research, they end up in the library. So we wanted to convert this research into grassroots community development programs. And I remember very well, the University of Venda came in very handy when we went to them to say we want support. We wanted buses to take students to communities, also food when we host programs. So university was supporting. And when we went to communities, when we started teaching them about the environment, cleaning their rivers, they also responded very well. I remember there was this one particular chief from Mauruma who then said to us, I want to see you doing this thing in the entire world. And I think that's where we got the motivation to grow, because we realized that even leaders of our communities believe in us and they think the work we're doing needs to grow. So from then we started to then visit different places. We remember going to Gauteng, going to Eastern Cape when we were still students at the University of Venda, pushing the very same agenda of environmental education and awareness. And that's when we grew. When we graduated from the university, we said, as much as we started this as a student movement, the way it's now moving, it cannot remain a student movement. We'll leave a student wing, but we need to continue now and have a body that is outside that will be able to continue the work, not only for students, but also now including the communities that motivated us and other stakeholders. And that's where UGO was started, from a student movement to now a global giant.
Now, as you've already mentioned, that the idea was conceptualized when you were still in varsity, and right now, as you speak, you are the executive chairman. Do you still have some of the students that you started this with right now?
Yeah, and I think that's one reason we kept the work going, because most of the students that we started with at the university, obviously they were graduating. And when they graduated, one of the challenges they were experiencing is unemployment. So we said we can't just start the work with students and now we leave them hanging. So majority of people we started with are now part of what we call Universal Greening Network. So the chairperson, the CEO of the organization, it's actually the gentleman we started with at the University of Venda. I remember when I was 20, he was 21, and he's currently the the CEO of the organization. And we have a lot of other students who are currently now fully employed in the organization, who are working full time, but we started together. But beside those that we started together, who are now in the executive of the organization, like I said, we've got a network. So our network brings all those students that we started with and the current generation of students, where we assist them with mentorship, placements, and different activities based on their needs. So yes, we still have a lot of them. And I think one of the reasons that keeps us going today is because we really want to look after them and ensure that all those that we started with are looked after even today.
Now, what are some of the challenges really that come with managing a non-profit making organization?
I think the main one is for us, we are young people. We started these at the age of 20. One of the biggest challenge that we experienced then was that people never believed in us. You'd go to government officials, you'd go to private sector and all other entities to say, this is what we're doing. And we believe if this work gets support, it will make change that we want to see. So you get to be rejected and people don't take you serious. That's one of the challenges that we experience. But also this extend when you need resources as well. Because obviously running a non-profit organization, you're not entirely driven by profit. You're driven by the impact that you need to do to the communities. So when you go and ask resources, be it from government, private sector, and all other stakeholders, it becomes a challenge because they tell you that in their budget for this year, they do not have um, uh, budget for this, particularly looking at the sector that we are operating in, because it's very sensitive. I remember when we started this, I never knew any youth-led organization then in the green economy space. It was just ourselves trying to flood the market where it's historically known to be things that are done by white people. Environmental programs are not historically known to be pushed by young people from the previously disadvantaged community. So we had that challenge as well to say the language we're speaking, it's not a common language. It's not a language that each and every person understands. So even when you ask for resources, they will tell you that there's no budget for green related projects. Their budget are for livelihoods programs and other programs that are known to be urgent. But we have tried by all means to push the green agenda to become a sensitive topic. But obviously now, good thing that makes it easy is the climate change has become a global language.
Yes.
And everyone now is responding to it. Good thing is we have already built the systems. We've already prepared ourselves. So when people now are saying we want to support climate change work, we want to support disaster-related work, they find us ready. But it is becoming, it has proven to be very difficult to fundraise and also get support from institutions that have got people of influence.
The organization has done, excuse me, quite a stellar job over the years transforming grassroots action into global influence through youth empowerment, like you've already said, sustainability, and green innovation across Africa. Now, this is achieved through the fellowship program, which we're just unpacking right now. Are you able to tell us more about that, this fellowship program?
Yeah. So the UGO Fellowship, it's one of our flagship programs. I tell you, when I talk about this program, I feel very motivated because it started actually from a personal story. I remember 2018, I was having my first international trip where I flew to Dubai. It was the first time I get to the airplane, the first time I leave South Africa. When I landed at Dubai, I saw South Africa from a distance. And when I saw it from a distance, I realized that there is a lot that we need to do to ensure that we improve our country. Because one thing that was very active when I landed in Dubai, I realized that crime was 0%. And I was free as a person to say, if I am in a space where crime is 0%, what is it that we need to do in South Africa to ensure that we reach this type of level? But only the other thing that motivated me was that I broadened my understanding and my vision, because now that I see how Dubai is constructed and how Dubai is operating, I realize that there's a lot we can do here in South Africa as well. And I said, because of this experience that I have, we need to start a program that will take students from previously disadvantaged communities, give them exposure, like I choose the exposure now. And the idea was that, one, we need to ensure that young people understand issues of social cohesion. Because when I went to Dubai, I relied entirely on people who were that side to support me for shelter, food, and all other exposures that I had. And I remember when I was saying to myself, if I scream here, no one from my village will hear me. But good thing is I'm not gonna scream, because people who are here are not gonna put me in a position where I'll feel vulnerable. So the UGO Fellowship, it's a 90-day skills development program that is designed for students who are from previously disadvantaged communities, who have never been on a plane before, who have never traveled outside their country before, who do not own any passport, who are performing well academically, who have got 60% and above, and are funded by government programs. So when we identify these students, we train them on personal development and ethical leadership as the first module, because the idea is that they need to understand themselves, they need to discover themselves, but they also need to fill the leadership gap. After training them on that, we train them on social enterprise, because the idea is that students must not just think from being employed. They must also think about solving a problem using entrepreneurship way. After training them on that, we train them on technology and innovation, where idea is that they must scale their work and impact using technology. And then we train them on sustainability so that they understand whatever they are doing today and the benefits they are having today, they should not just exploit everything. They must leave better resources for future generation. Then we train them on community development so that they understand that from where they are, they need to also go back to their community and develop their own communities. After training them on all those 5 modules, interestingly, we bring them at DIRCO. This is where we train them on protocol, diplomacy, and etiquette.
Oh, beautiful. I was actually about to ask about that, but yeah, you may continue.
Yeah. So we train them on, we bring them here for 2 days full training, where we train them on protocol, diplomacy, and etiquette. And the idea is that these young people, we're giving them an opportunity. After this training, we want to fly them to a foreign country for the first time. But when they get to these foreign countries, they meet different people, from ministers, ambassadors, and government officials, but also they meet with their peers, the universities students, and other young people who are doing community work. So we want them to be prepared to understand what it means to be a diplomat, so that when they go out there, they are able to talk about their countries, but they're also able to understand what the other countries are doing. So after training them on that, we fly them to a foreign country. So in this case, if I'm to just bring you to 2025, we had 60 fellows this year. 30 of them are from South Africa, and 10 are from Botswana, 10 are from Kenya, and 10 are from Sierra Leone. Because this program is not only designed for South African students, it's designed for African young people. And the idea is we want these young people to exchange. We want these young people to understand that Africa must be developed by Africa, by Africans, for Africans. So it's a beautiful program. I love it.
Now, as a young person who perhaps also wants to partake in this particular program, how does one go about doing that? Where do they access the information?
Yeah. So currently, like I said, our program is designed for students in the universities who are studying courses that are related to green economy. So these are courses in environmental space, your agriculture, your tourism, mining, water. All students who are studying around those courses, and they do have 60% average, and they can prove that they are from previously disadvantaged households, and they have not been on a plane before. They have never owned passport. Because one thing that we do is all the fellows that we bring on board, we actually do their passports. We actually take them to Home Affairs and all the foreign countries' immigrations and ensure that we give them the first stamp. So for 2025, our partners here in South Africa, we had partnered with your National Youth Development Agency. They advertised when this call out. In Sierra Leone, we partnered with the Ministry of Youth. The Ministry of Youth advertised this through their platforms online, but also other channels that they have. So the call goes out to the public, because our selection criteria is not something that is secret. It's something that is out there for public. We had students from the University of Venda, students from University of Mpumalanga, University of KZN, University of Johannesburg, who participated in the fellowship on this cohort year 2025. So the information is out there. Our partners share it, and we're inviting a whole lot of other students to come on board as we continue with this, because now we're planning the cohort year 2026.
When are we going to see this fellowship, particularly looking at the African Union? Because I feel like there's a lot of beautiful ideas and there's a lot that has been implemented by this organization. So are there plans of one of these days featuring at the African Union?
Look, Helen, and that's something that we're working towards, because our work, or particularly the UGO fellowship, aligns perfectly with Agenda 2063, mainly aspiration number 1 and your aspiration 6 that talks about inclusion, youth participation in Africa development. And that's what we want to do. We want to try by all means to ensure that at the end of the day, this fellowship becomes a vehicle that is recognized by AU. And the idea is we want to reach all AU member states by 2030. Last year, we started with just one country. This year, we are in 4 countries. We were with Botswana, Sierra Leone, Kenya, and South Africa. So next year, we want to add we want to have 11 countries. And we'll have a total of 200 fellows. 2027, we want to go to 33 AU member states.
Beautiful.
So there is a plan for us to align fully with the AU Agenda 2063, but also would be very much open to collaborate with all partners or actors that would really want to be part of this.
And that aligns with South Africa's foreign policy, promoting the African, agenda.
Correct.
Really, really love that it speaks to that. But in closing, where can we find more information about the organization and the fellow? Perhaps on social media, contact details. How do we support?
Correct. So we are available. We've got our website. It's www.universalgreening.org. We also have social media platforms where it's Universal Greening Organization across the board: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the platforms. But also we encourage people to reach out directly to us. Our email is ugo@universalgreening.org. And we are willing to partner with all developmental partners, all countries that are interested. When I'm saying next year, we want to add 11 countries. We do not have those countries now as we speak. So there's an opportunity for African governments that want to empower young people to participate in cross-border programs, but also in leadership or development, to come on board. So we are open to engage and ensure that we collaborate. We're looking forward to a successful 2026. Our minds are already there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Universal Greening Organization's Executive Chairman, Mr. Talifhani Tshitwamulomoni. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
This is Ubuntu Radio.
A product of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, South Africa.